Hello, this is Dr. Stacy Merle, and I'm from the Office of Assessment at the West Virginia Department of Education. On this webinar, I will be giving you an introduction to the new optional Computer Adaptive Comprehensive Interim Assessments, otherwise known as the CA-CIAs. What are the optional CA-CIAs? They are computer adaptive comprehensive tests that mirror the WVGSA in content standard coverage and reporting data. They're available in English language arts and in math. For ELA, students will take the reading test and the writing test, and for math, they will only take the math test. Why would you want to give the optional CA-CIA at the beginning of the school year? Because of COVID-19, students in grades 3 to 8 were not administered the WVGSA in spring 2020. We don't have any end-of-year assessment data in ELA or math for these students. If you give your students the CA-CIA in early fall, then you will have comprehensive content area assessment data for them. How is the CA-CIA administration different from the WVGSA? Because items on the CA-CIA come from the interim bank and not the WVGSA test item bank, teachers are not required to have Policy 2340 training or to complete the WVS 326 forms prior to testing. This allows more time to be spent on instruction, not standardized test preparation. Students are eligible for one or two test opportunities of the CA-CIA. Districts, schools, and teachers choose what works best for their students. They can opt to give the CA-CIA one time for baseline assessment data at the beginning of the year. Optionally, they can give the CA-CIA a second time for a follow-up snapshot of assessment data. Did you know that interims will be available for students on their grade level and on the grade level below? On August 17, 2020, when the interims open, students in grades 4 to 8 can, by default, take any interim and diagnostic tests at their current grade level or the grade level below. Districts, schools, and teachers choose what works best for their students. Note: the grade level below interim eligibility for grades 4 through 8 will be removed on December 31st, 2020. It is our goal for grade 9 students to also be eligible to take any grade 8 interim and diagnostic tests. Will you test your class using the current grade level CA-CIA or the grade level below CA-CIA? You can test your class using the grade level below CA-CIA. This option would give you baseline data on your students' mastery of last year's content standards. This is not an option for grade 3 teachers. You can test your class using the current grade level CA-CIA. This option would give you baseline data on your students' mastery of the current year's content standards. This is not an option for grade 9 teachers. Do you want ELA and math assessment reports? Or are you only interested in one content area? To see reports for ELA and math, students will be administered the following tests: the CA-CIA reading test, the CA-CIA writing test, and the CA-CIA math test. To see reports for one content area only, remember, in ELA, students will take the CA-CIA reading test and the CA/CIA writing tests. For math reporting, students only need to take the CA/CIA math test. How much time should I schedule for the CA/CIA testing? Because the CA/CIA mirrors the WV/GSA, you should estimate similar time for administering them. Teachers and schools must determine the most appropriate testing schedule based on the number of computers available, the number of students in each grade tested, and the estimated time needed to complete each test. Are there suggested time allotments for the CA/CIAs? You can use the table below with its suggested time allotments to help you plan for your administration of the CA/CIAs. For all three tests, reading, writing, and math, the suggested allotment time would be 2 hours with breaks as needed. These are the same as the suggested time allotments of the WV/GSA. Can a CA/CIA be administered across multiple days? Yes, a CA/CIA can be administered across multiple days. Note: teachers must end the test session and generate a new test session the next day that students resumed the CA/CIA. When students log back in to resume the CA/CIA, they will see the first item that they had not yet completed. What are the important dates? The CA/CIAs will open on August 10th, 2020. Please note, the IMAs, the SIAs, and the DIAs will open on August 17th, 2020. The grade level below interim eligibility will be removed on December 31st, 2020. Why is the grade level below interim eligibility being removed on December 31st, 2020? This gives districts and schools flexibility with determining when and if they would administer grade level below CA/CIAs or any other grade level below interim and diagnostic tests from August 17th through December 30th, 2020. This also ensures that students are not being assessed using grade level below interims throughout the school year. Now I'm going to talk to you about the operational test administration site, which is the location for teacher users to access the CA/CIAs. Where are the CA/CIAs located? You will navigate to the West Virginia Assessments Program portal. Then you will select your user role. Teachers are usually test administrators. You will then select the Operational Test Administration, which is a blue card on the portal. The login page appears. You will enter your email address and password. Then click Secure Login. If you have not logged in using this browser before, or if you have cleared your browser's cache, the Enter Code page appears, and an email containing an authentication code is sent to your address. In the Enter Emailed Code field, you will enter the emailed code. You will then click Submit to view the Operational Test Administration site. About usernames and passwords. Your username is the email address associated with your account in Tide. When you are added to Tide, you receive an email containing a temporary link to the Reset Your Password page. To activate your account, you must set up your password within 15 minutes of receiving this email. Teachers who have administered assessments in the past should already have user accounts. New teachers will need to have user accounts created. You can work with your principal and district test coordinator for that. There are 5 basic steps for administering the CA-CIAs. 1. The teacher selects the CA-CIA and starts a test session. 2. Students sign in and request approval for the CA-CIA. 3. The teacher reviews each student's request and approves them for testing. 4. Students complete and submit their CA-CIA. 5. The teacher stops the test session and logs out. A quick guide for administering the CA-CIAs will be available on the West Virginia Assessments Portal and the Interim Resources OneDrive. It is an easy step-by-step directions document for teachers to follow, and it will also be printable. Test Selection Window. When you log in, the Test Selection window opens automatically. This window allows you to select tests and start the session. Only the test you select will be available to students who join your session. You will then expand the test selection menu and select the CA-CIA. The test selection window color codes tests and groups them into various categories. A test group may include one or more subgroups. All test groups and subgroups appear collapsed by default. To expand a test group, you will click or expand all. To collapse an expanded test group, click or collapse all. To create a new test session. 1. If the test selection window is not open, click Select Tests in the upper right corner of the teacher's site. Otherwise, skip to step 2. 2. Select the CA-CIA content and grade level of the test you want to give by marking the appropriate checkbox. In the lower left corner of the window, click Start Session. Generating a session ID. Once you've clicked that, the session ID appears. You will provide the session ID to your students. It is located in the top right corner of the page. Please note, you should write down the session ID in case you accidentally close the browser window and need to return to the active test session. You may have only one session open at a time. You cannot reopen closed sessions, but students can resume a test opportunity in a new session. Ending a test session. When students finish testing or the current testing time slot is over, you should stop the test session. Stopping a session automatically logs out all of the students in the session and pauses their tests. All student work will be saved. Once you stop a test session, you cannot resume it. To resume testing students, you must start a new session. In the upper right-hand corner, you will click Stop. A confirmation message appears. You will click OK, and the test session stops. Logging out of the Operational Test Administration site. You should log out of the Test Administration site only after stopping a test session. To log out, 1. In the banner, click Log Out. A warning message appears. In the warning message, click Yes. The West Virginia Assessments Program portal appears. Student Testing Site. For sessions created using the Operational Test Administration card, students sign in to the Student Testing Site on the secure browser. Step 1. Signing students in. To sign students in to a test session, 1. Launch the secure browser on the student's testing device. The student sign-in page appears. 2. Students enter the following information. A. In the first name field, students enter their first name as it appears in TIDE and WVEIS. B. In the SSID field, students enter their SSID as it appears in TIDE and WVEIS. C. In the Session ID field, students enter the Session ID as it appears on the TA site. Step 2. Verifying student information. After students sign in, the Is This You page appears. On this page, students verify their personal information. If all the information is correct, students click Yes. The Your Test page appears, displaying the available tests. If any of the information displayed is incorrect, the student should not begin testing. The student should click No. You must notify the appropriate school building personnel or district personnel that the student's information is incorrect. Step 3. Selecting a test. The Your Tests page displays all the tests a student is eligible to take that are active in the test session. Students can only select tests that are included in the session and still need to be completed. Available tests are color-coded and grouped into categories, just like the tests listed in the test selection window of the TA site. If the student has not started a test opportunity, the button for that test is labeled Start with the name of the test. If the student has started a test and paused a test opportunity, the button for that test is labeled Resume Test Name. Students click the required test name. The request is sent to the TA for approval, and the Waiting for Approval message appears. After you approve the student for testing, the student can proceed to the next step. Step 4. Functionality checks. Depending on the test content and the specified test settings, students may need to verify that their testing device is functioning properly from the Audio-Video Checks page. The two most common ones are Text-to-Speech Check and Sound and Video Playback Check, which would be on the reading and writing tests. To proceed to the Instructions and Help page, verify each functionality, then click Continue. Step 5. Viewing test instructions and starting the test. The Instructions and Help page is the last step of the sign-in process. Students may review this page to understand how to navigate the test and use test tools. Students may also review their test settings from this page. After reviewing this page, students click Begin Test Now. The test opportunity officially begins or resumes. Submitting a test. After students respond to the last test question, the End Test button appears in the global menu. To end a test, 1. Students select End Test. A confirmation message appears. 2. Students select OK. End Test page. When students end a test, the End Test page appears. This page allows students to review answers and submit the test for scoring. A flag icon appears for any questions marked for review by the student. To review answers, students select a question number. To return to the End Test page, students select End Test in the global menu. To submit the test, students select Submit Test. A confirmation message appears and students select Yes. Your Results page. After students submit the test, the Your Results page appears, displaying the student's name, the test name, and the completion date. To exit the student testing site, select Log Out. In the upper right corner, select Close Secure Browser. Next up is the CA/CIA data and reporting. Reporting. On August 17, 2020, all reporting will be merged into reporting. This is the reporting system formerly known as Airways. It will include WVGSA data, CBA data, and all interims and diagnostics. The online reporting system, or ORS, will be closed on October 31st, 2020. What data will be available after you give the CA/CIA? You will get group roster level data, student level data, and in August, we will have a quick guide to the CA/CIA reports available for you. The CA/CIA group roster level data will have the following: the average scale score, the proficiency range group performance, and these are does not meet standard, partially meets standard, meets standard, and exceeds standard. We'll have the reporting category group performance, and those are the categories of below mastery, at near mastery, and above mastery. And we'll also have group performance reporting at the standards level. The CA/CIA student level data. You will get the following: the scale score, the Lexile and quantile score, proficiency range performance, does not meet standard, partially meets standard, meets standard, exceeds standard, reporting category performance, below mastery, at near mastery, and above mastery, and the performance reporting at the standards level. Want to learn more about the CA/CIAs? In future CA/CIA specific webinars, I will cover the quick guide to administer the CA/CIAs and the quick guide to the CA/CIA's reports. This concludes the webinar. We will now have a question and answer session. Please remember to type your questions in the chat box. I also wanted to include my contact information. I'm Dr. Stacy Merle from the Office of Assessment. My email is slmerle@k12.wv.us, and the number is 304-558-2546. If you would like to access any of the interim and diagnostic resources, you can find that on my OneDrive at https tinyurl.com/slmerle.